In this video, we will see Bob and Francis, first of all, discussing the process of brief coaching and then getting on and doing some brief coaching. While you're watching, do make some notes and try to follow the process that's outlined on this slide. So here we have Bob and Francis about to set up their brief coaching session. Okay, so how have things been going?
Good. Very changeable.
Right.
Lots of things have happened since the last time we spoke.
Yeah.
I'm moving forward with my coaching course, which
Right.
is great. Very
Good.
interesting. Not as good as yours.
If you give me a few tips.
Okay, I will do.
Okay.
Yes, I think lots of things to discuss and explore.
Right. Okay. Today I would like, with your permission, to try a different technique, a different approach.
Okay.
It's got two names. It's either called solution focus or it's called brief coaching.
Okay.
Or to give its full name, brief coaching for lasting solutions.
Oh, there we go.
And the idea is that it needs to be brief.
Okay.
Are you familiar with it? Have you come across it before?
No.
Okay. I'll just explain a little bit about what it's about.
Okay.
And then we'll get on and do it. So the first thing is we need to remind ourselves of our agreements and our contract that we have. We then have to establish a very clear issue that we want to talk about and try to box that off.
Okay.
And then we don't spend time exploring the issue very much. What we try to do is seek a solution as soon as we can and then work that solution through to a conclusion so that you've got something that you can walk away with.
Okay.
And it does involve some techniques. One technique is called scaling, where I will ask you your current situation on a scale of 1 to 10, and then I'll take you through a process that's linked to the scale.
Okay.
Another approach is called finding limiting assumptions. And if we come across limiting assumptions, that's from yourself. I'll challenge those.
Okay.
I'm not saying there will be,
all right. We'll see.
but there might be.
Yeah.
And there's also a technique called the miracle question,
right,
which I hope I will also be able to do with you, and I'll explain it to you when we get to it.
Okay.
And the idea is that we do it quickly. Solution focused brief coaching has to be brief, no more than half an hour.
Okay.
It's bang, get through it.
All
okay. Right. And the idea is that you come out with something.
Okay.
Something that you can do, an action.
Fab.
And what's important is that the action is often quite small, because the theory is that if you take a small step, you're much more likely to get success more quickly, and then you'll have the momentum to move further forward.
Yeah.
So it's all about small steps. So the tiniest bit, and get success, you move forward.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Does that seem all right?
That sounds fine.
Okay. So last time we met, you had all sorts of stuff going on.
Yeah.
So where are you with all that?
It's still going on.
Right.
So where I work now, we lost the tender, which we discussed last time.
Yeah.
Since then, in terms of my current employment, there's been no discussion from anybody, no moving forward, no anything.
You're going to have a meeting?
Yep, I had the meeting, and that was neither use nor ornament.
Oh, right.
But I did very carefully make sure that when I was doing any influencing,
yes,
that it was to kind of well selected people.
Okay.
So I did my influencing and then left it alone.
Okay.
And actually there has been a chain of events that's happened because of the influencing. But again, what I've tried to do is do the influencing and then step away and kind of leave it with these guys to try and sort through. So where things are with that, very, very senior management have got hold of the fact that I'm probably going to be leaving, or that the nature of my role will be changing, and they've come up with a couple of ideas, one being that they write a job for me, and the other one being that they have a conversation with procurement to see if they can change the nature of the contract. So that's that.
Right.
But in terms of where I am, there's been no communication at all, which, and I'm sure you can imagine, has given me quite a lot of anxiety because of being in the unknown. I think it's a lot easier to deal with things and make decisions when you actually know, rather than sitting there
Sure.
making things up in your head.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that I've done is I've then looked at my situation in the way that we talked about last time, and worked out what it is that I enjoy most about my role,
Right.
and what do I value most about where I am. And the conclusion that I drew was that actually it would be better off if I applied for a job on the railway.
Right.
So I would stay where I am. So the location would work in terms of the rest of my life. It would just be a completely different role. And I think this is the problem that I'd like to discuss with you, is that I do feel that it's perhaps not what I'd like. It's not what I'd like to do.
Right.
It's just out of necessity that I'm pursuing that.
Okay. That sounds very interesting. Okay. So where would you like to start with that?
So we have to summarize the problem, is that right? We have to box it off.
Yes. So, yeah, let's first project forward.
Okay.
That we're half an hour on.
Right.
What would you like to have achieved at the end of the half an hour?
I think I'd like to feel confident in my decision to pursue a role on the railway or continue pursuing a role elsewhere.
Okay.
So.
Right. So there's a dilemma. There's two choices,
Yeah.
and you want to get clarity on which one you need to take.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's where you would like to be when we finish.
Yeah.
Where are you now?
Nowhere, I think, is probably the best way. One day I think I've made a decision, and then I'll go to work, have a fantastic day, love my job, do some great learning, meet some great people, and think, I can't leave this. This is what I love to do.
Right.
And then I wake up the next day and look at my bank balance and go, I can't keep doing this.
Right.
I need to earn some money in a proper job.
Okay. If I had a scale here of 1 to
Yeah.
10, where 10 everything's brilliant and 1 it's nowhere near,
Yeah.
where would you place your current situation?
Probably 3.
A 3.
Yeah.
Okay. And what's it like to be a 3?
Quite unnerving. I do feel anxious, which I haven't felt in a while.
Right.
I'm not doing anything particularly well at the moment. I think because of this unknown, I'm not quite sure. It's just unsure all the time.
Okay.
I think.
Supposing you were doing something well, what would that look like?
Well, as you said at the beginning, if you take a little step and you do it well, it spurs you on, it motivates you to keep doing that.
Right.
So I think if things were being done well, I'd feel better, I'd feel less anxious and more able to make a sensible decision that wasn't clouded by my emotions.
Okay. So in thinking about you as a 3, is there anything that you've thought of already that would move your 3 to a 4? One small step.
Researching the job that I've applied for in more detail.
Right.
I've made kind of a half attempt at doing that.
Right.
But then kind of backed out of it because I got a bit nervous and thought perhaps that's not the right thing to do.
Right. So you're in a dilemma.
Yeah.
And that makes you a 3.
Yes.
Okay. And making it a 4 would be you went and did a bit of research.
Yeah. Wholeheartedly.
Okay. Wholeheartedly.
Yes.
So you're not wholeheartedly doing your research
No.
at the moment.
No. I think that's because of feeling anxious and not committing to actually doing it. So
Okay.
I'm doing a bit of a watered down version of it.
Right. Can we try something?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. I'll explain it to you. This is called the miracle question.
Okay.
It's not a question at all. It's just a process.
Right.
It's a visualization process.
Okay.
And it requires you to have some imagination.
All right.
Can you imagine?
Yes. Very well.
Okay. And my role is to try to hold you to the imagination.
Okay.
Okay. So the situation here is about this new job within the railway. That's what you're wanting to think about.
Yes.
Right. Okay. But you're in a dilemma. So supposing that tonight you go to bed and during the night a miracle happens, which is it's all resolved in your sleep, but you don't know that because you were asleep.
Yeah, okay.
But you start to notice that something has changed as you wake up.
Okay.
And what's the first thing that you notice?
I don't feel nervous when I wake up.
Okay, you don't feel nervous.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, so you're getting up out of bed. What are you doing next?
Getting ready to go to work.
Okay, and what are you thinking?
I don't feel anxious.
I don't feel anxious. What do you feel?
Happy, cheerful, sun shining.
Okay, sun shining, happy, cheerful, feels good?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So what happens after you've got ready for work? What do you do, breakfast or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, what are you doing for breakfast?
Probably eggs, something nice like that.
Eggs for breakfast. Very good. And who's with you?
My daughter,
Right, and?
William,
Yes.
and my little cat.
And your little cat. And what's going on?
And I don't feel anxious
Right,
or stressed.
right. But what do you feel? Not what you don't feel, but what do you
I
feel?
do feel relaxed
Right.
and happy
Uh-huh.
and fulfilled,
Right,
calm.
calm.
Yeah, smiley, all those nice things.
Okay, so you've had breakfast. What happens after breakfast?
Go to the train to go to work.
Right, you go to the train station. Okay, what's that like?
Full of people.
Okay, what the train station is?
Yes.
Okay, and what's your feeling like?
The same, everything's jolly and happy and nice.
Okay, and who are you with?
My daughter.
Your daughter?
And
Yes.
on we go on the train, feeling nice
Okay.
and calm.
Yeah,
Um,
and you're sitting, feeling nice and calm on the train. And what are you talking about?
what we're probably reading.
Oh, right.
We have a travel book, a train book.
Oh, okay,
We take it in turns to read.
right.
What I'm noticing is that I'm not irritable,
You're not irritable.
so that I'm not short-tempered with her,
Right.
which is nice.
Yes. So okay. So
So our journey's going better.
let's get rid of some of these negative words. It's
Okay.
not you're not irritable. What are you?
Happy,
Yeah,
joyful.
joyful. Okay. And then what happens? You arrive at where you're
Go to
going
work.
to. So
Yes.
what happens then?
I go to work. I go to
Well,
my
what happens to your
office.
daughter? Does she
Oh,
leave
yes,
her on the
sorry.
station?
No, I've taken her to school,
Right.
and that we've probably skipped there.
You've skipped to school.
Yes,
You've skipped to
of
school.
course we do.
And then you come back from the school.
I do, and then I go to work.
And how far is that?
10 minutes maximum.
10 minutes. And
I
what,
probably skipped.
you skipped back.
Probably,
You
why
skipped
not?
there and you skipped back.
Probably.
Okay, good. And you arrive at work, and what happens? What do you notice?
Everything's jolly. I've said good morning to everybody,
Right.
and I go to my office,
Yes.
and it's still my office.
Right.
Check my diary. I've still got clients to
Right.
see every day.
Yes.
Check my bank balance.
Right.
It's great.
Okay. And it's really good.
Yes, it's really fabulous.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what happens?
I set up for my first client.
Right. And
Probably have a coffee.
right.
My first client arrives,
Yes.
and we have a great session.
Right. Okay. And then what happens?
I'll probably have another coffee.
Right.
And
hmm
then write up my notes on my appointment with my client,
Right.
and prepare for my next one.
Right. Okay. And during the day, what conversations are you having with people?
Usually, definitely positive ones
Right.
about my fantastic role and their fantastic role and
Yeah.
all the great projects that we're planning and putting together.
Right.
Preparing for things next month, in
Uh-huh.
a couple of months' time. Looking at the safety wheel and planning and developing for that.
Right. Okay. We had the safety wheel last time.
We did.
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
did.
Okay. And that's progressing well.
Yes, very well.
Yeah. Good. Okay. So we're coming towards any other conversations with anybody else?
No, maybe my mum
Okay. Right.
at
Okay.
lunchtime,
Right.
just to check in.
Just to check in.
Yeah,
Okay. And what's going on?
everything's positive.
Right. Okay. Good. Good. So you come to the end of the working day. What
Mhm.
happens then?
Go to collect my daughter.
Right. Okay. And how's she?
Wonderful,
Right.
as
Okay.
always.
And how are you?
The same.
Right. Okay. And what do you do next?
Probably go home. That would be nice.
Right. So okay. So you're going home on the train again.
Yes,
Okay. And what are you doing on the train?
reading.
Right.
I
Again.
like to read. Yes.
Right. The return reading.
Yes.
Okay.
but there's a definite sense of positivity. There's
Right.
nothing weighing me down, which
Right.
brings the whole day on,
Okay.
and helps the mood of everybody, I think.
Right. Okay. So everybody's mood's good
Mhm.
because your mood's good,
Mhm.
and that's great. Okay, and your bank balance is fine.
Yes, my
And
bank
you've
balance
had
looking
Good
good.
time with everybody else,
Yeah.
and it's been okay. So you get back to your home station, and what happens?
Well, because the bank balance is good, I'd probably go and buy a bottle of wine.
Oh, right. Okay. Right. Go and buy a bottle of wine. Okay. What else happens?
Go home.
Mhm.
My daughter will probably play out if the weather's lovely,
Yes.
and I'll make the tea and then sit on the sofa where I can see her, but she doesn't know I can see her,
Okay.
and read my book.
Oh, all right then. Okay.
Sounds very nice.
Right. So it's been a good day.
Yes, it sounds lovely.
So what did you notice in that particular miracle?
Well, the day started without a kind of feeling of heaviness, or which is
Okay.
kind of how it is at the moment. It wasn't. As soon as you remove that,
Mm.
you feed your own positive cycle, don't
Yes.
you?
So what else did you notice?
My bank balance
The bank balance
was
is
healthy.
And what's contributed to that?
A better job,
Right.
but my role hadn't changed.
Right. So your same role,
Same role,
but more money.
yes.
Okay.
And in my miracle situation, I am on a proper salary, still doing my role in the way that I'm doing, but working more closely with the railway. So I think I was probably working for them.
Right.
I think my ideal solution is to be able to continue with what I'm doing because I'm very good at it. It makes me happy.
Right.
I love it. I really do. And maybe see if there's a way of exploring that possibility rather than what I have been doing, which is leaving it alone.
Right. Okay.
I think when we discussed before when we were discussing who can we influence.
Yes.
That was definitely in regards to the tender contract, not a separate opportunity for me.
Yes.
I didn't really realise perhaps that was an option.
Right.
And now it has been discussed. Maybe I do need to do a little bit more influencing.
Okay. And who do you need to influence?
The person who will be creating that role.
Right. Okay. So what's the first step towards influencing that person?
I need to put a very clear case together, which we're halfway through anyway, because previously, after our first session, I wrote a very clear job description and an explanation of what it is I'm doing, my roles and responsibilities, and I got some influential people to contribute facts and figures of people that I've seen and numbers of staff I've worked with. And then I think I need to organise a meeting and actually just ask the question.
Yes.
To the right person.
And the question is what?
Can you create a role for me?
Right. Within the railway?
Yes.
Not with your current employer?
No.
Okay.
With an affiliation.
Right.
To my current employer.
Right. So some kind of association.
Yes, so that I could keep all the positive things that I get from my current employer.
Yes.
Which the railway benefit from.
Right.
The equipment, all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, which we talked about previously. Okay, so when are you going to do this?
He's away for 2 weeks.
Right. So what can you do in the meantime?
So I need to get my things together. But actually, I could see another element has been that there's been a huge rejiggle with the management structure where I work, and it happened overnight. So I could go to the person above him potentially,
right,
and have a discussion with him.
Okay.
I mean, what I don't want to do is go too far over their head, because the further removed they are from me and the work I do, the less likely it is to be a priority to them.
Yeah.
I need to have a think about who it is that I would need to ask the question.
Okay.
I'm just going to write some of that.
So this is your next step.
Okay.
And who do you need to help you do that?
There are a couple of senior managers that I've worked with in the past who have sent me facts and figures of the work that I've done. So, I need to talk to them, I think.
Okay, so there's a kind of network of people.
I think there's only really one, because he manages a large area.
Okay.
So although he's got 5 or 6 management staff below him, he is the one in charge. I think if I talked to him, he'd have all the numbers of the staff I've worked with on his route.
Okay. So you're going to put something together, you're going to put some numbers together, you're going to think about who you're going to speak to influence this. How will you know it's working?
Well, that somebody, the person that I'm going to end up speaking to says, this is something that we're looking into.
Right. Okay. So if they say we're looking into this, or we're discussing this, or it's on the agenda, you will know that you're making progress.
Yeah. I also think I need to say, can we have a timeline?
Right.
Because my role, as it stands at the moment, is being, well, I'll be taken over by another company as of the 1st of June.
Right. So time's moving on. Okay.
Do you think that would be a reasonable question, the timeline, or is it a bit too?
Well, it's very businesslike.
Is it? Okay.
And reasonable. It's not unreasonable. Okay, so what are you going to do? In a nutshell.
I'm going to put all my information together. I'm going to ask the manager that I know well to go through it with me, discuss, try and do all the work for the person who would be creating the role, try and do it for them. So get the role title, the salary band, what my job role and would look like, put that together. Explore how it would work with the affiliation with the company that I work with now. Put all of that together, and then perhaps when he's back from holiday.
Okay. Do you need to talk to your current employer about it?
No, I don't think so.
Right.
Because my current employer has already said if the railway would like to have a conversation, then they're happy to have a conversation.
Okay. Right. So before we close on this, is there anything that you wanted to say but haven't said yet?
No.
Okay. So you've got a plan.
I have.
Done it quite quickly.
We have, very quickly.
Okay. And you got a way of moving forward, a way of understanding how it's going to work for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Can we close it there?
Yeah. Brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you.